The desire for Kevin Costner to helm Clint Eastwood's most celebrated Western eclipsed their eventual filmmaking partnership. There are intriguing similarities between the careers of Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood, as both men owe their big-screen debuts to Westerns. With the landmark Dollars movie trilogy from Eastwood, Costner was the star of Silverado, 1985. Subsequently, Eastwood leveraged his celebrity status to transition into directing, a move that Costner would also make, starting with the critically praised Dances with Wolves. These days, Eastwood is inextricably associated with the genre, and Costner, although making fewer Western films, has also established himself as a kind of Western legend. With his planned Horizon movie series, Costner is taking a major, risk. The actor and director intends to film 2 more episodes to wrap out the plot, having already committed a portion of his own riches to the duology. If his gamble comes off, only time will tell. But it's interesting to note that almost every movie he's directed, including The Postman, is a Western of some sort. For years, Kevin Costner pursued the film Unforgiven as director. After the genre had languished for more than 10 years, Costner's Dances with Wolves contributed to the revival of Westerns in the 1990s. It probably pushed Eastwood, who had been sitting on the screenplay for years after obtaining it, to ultimately make Unforgiven. In the late 1970s, the original story was written, and directors Francis Ford Coppola and John Malkovich were considering helming the film Unforgiven starring John Malkovich. In a 2004 interview with EW, Costner disclosed that he pursued Unforgiven as a director for 6 years and was unconcerned with the film's depressing subject matter. But Eastwood felt the protagonist should be older, so he decided to wait a few years before starting Unforgiven after Coppola passed away. During this time, Costner probably had little chance of wresting the screenplay away from Eastwood. He eventually indulged his Western itch by playing the lead in Wyatt Earp. A what-if scenario involving Costner directing and potentially appearing in Unforgiven is intriguing, but ultimately, everything worked out. Since Eastwood is a legend in the genre, he was actually always the best option. With Eastwood in the lead role, the film's dissection of the Old West mythology has even greater impact. The reason Morgan Freeman starred in Unforgiven was because of Costner. Thanks to Driving Miss Daisy and Seven, Morgan Freeman later in life achieved stardom in motion pictures. Azim in the 1991 film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which starred Costner in the lead role, was another significant part for the actor. Despite the fact that critics made fun of Costner's accent, the film was a major hit, and Freeman quickly moved on to more ambitious roles. Among them was Unforgiven, in which the actor portrays Ned, Eastwood's money's unfortunate best buddy. During the filming of Robin Hood, Freeman learned about Unforgiven from Costner and went to Eastwood regarding the part. Eastwood and Freeman would go on to have a successful creative partnership following Unforgiven. They would reunite for the film's $1 Million Baby 2004, in which Eastwood won his second Best Director Academy Award, and Invictus 2009. Later, Eastwood and Costner collaborated on A Perfect World. Although Costner's plans to direct Unforgiven would not materialize, he would collaborate with Eastwood the very following year. Eastwood did not want to appear in the 1993 thriller A Perfect World when he signed on as director, via the New York Times. But Costner insisted that Eastwood portray the Texas Ranger who is chasing him after he was given the lead role of fugitive felon Butch. Those who thought A Perfect World would be similar to The Fugitive were quickly let down when they saw that Eastwood and Costner had very little screen time together at the end of the film. Rather, A Perfect World is a depressing story that centers on the relationship Butch develops with a little boy he abducts. Even with its high-profile cast, A Perfect World was regarded as a box office disappointment when it first came out, but it managed to gross a healthy $135 million worldwide, Box Office Mojo. Though it didn't achieve the same level of success as Unforgiven, A Perfect World is regarded as one of Eastwood's most underappreciated films to date. Although the movie has a somber conclusion and a dark tone, it's also one of Clint Eastwood's most poignant works, with Costner giving an excellent performance in an unconventional character. Although Eastwood and Costner never worked together again after A Perfect World, the latter frequently returned to the Western genre in the decades that followed, while the former departed from the genre after Unforgiven.